Good evening, comrades, and welcome to GamingAlimonda for another live stream of the PSGL F1 League. And we are here for round 12, the PSGL F1 Russian Grand Prix, the penultimate round of the season. And a warm welcome to those of you who have already joined in the chat. I see the likes of JP, Leon Bentley, Demon, Josh, and Irin, the experienced and, of course, new PSGL F4 champion. So big congratulations to him for his triumphant victory at Austria last night, to seal the championship on the podium, of course, behind his teammate Grumpy. So, we are here at the Sochi Otrodome, home of the 2014 Winter Olympics. Certainly a track which splits opinion on whether it's good or bad. I think it's not too bad a circuit myself. We've been racing here in real life since 2014. It certainly has a mixture of fast and technical sections. And we're just loading up for our usual 12-minute qualifying session, followed by a 50% race of this particular 5.8 kilometer circuit. 12 corners to the right and 6 left-hand corners here. Some very high-speed 2 DRS zones where we will certainly see, especially the 1,000 meter dash from the start line to the first braking zone. I mean, turn 1 is more of a kink, really, so the true first braking zone is actually turn 2 at the end of that particular area. So that's always provides some fun at turn 1. We haven't actually visited this particular track since season 18, where a particular QPRBeasts won in brilliant fashion back then. But when he did not race here last season, so it hasn't been raced at too many times in the past, it has to be said. A few former winners, including QPRBeasts, which I just mentioned. Tuzmas won here back in season 15, Bakers in season 12, and way back in season 10. Iran, who I mentioned earlier, is the new PSGL F4 champion. He was the first Russian Grand Prix winner here in PSGL F1. So we got a fairly reduced field tonight. A few people quite busy this evening. You know, it's understandable as we reach, you know, the last month before the new game comes out. I think interest does naturally wane, but I think 13 is still a decent turnout. But of course, the big thing we have to talk about here is the title battle between Lewis and Ashbest. Ashbest incidentally missing the final 2 races, so it seems. So he didn't get the job done last week, but VSR Lewis has his second shot of the 3 to effectively take the championship tonight. Mathematically, of course, he can't win the championship tonight, but if Ashbest doesn't turn up, then next week's race will effectively be a ceremonial crowning for VSR Lewis to be the new PSGL F1 champion. So then, let's just have a quick look at the particular standings. Your top 5, VSR Blizzard's brilliant victory in Austria last week, lifting him up above Cliffy into 5th, 47 points. And CCbrain on 51 points, he's had a pretty solid campaign. xJackLacey is on 53 points. He missed last week's race, of course, for a race ban, so he'll be hoping to hit the ground running once again here at Russia. And then in second place we have VSR Lewis with 108 points, 4 points behind Ashbest. He only needs 4 points to go ahead of him in the standings due to his superior win record, and Ashbest on 112 points. But as I mentioned, he is not actually going to be racing the final 2 races, although anything can happen. He might end up turning up in Malaysia. We still get our 3rd title battle in a row in PSGL F1. Well, that would be great if it happens, but I doubt it's going to happen. So bright sunshine here at Sochi so far. So I'm going to give someone else a bit of airtime that we don't typically see. Let's see, who don't we normally see too much of? I think we're going to give Paudie some airtime today for the first banker laps. Paudie on his out lap at the moment, so I think we'll just... is anyone else starting a lap? Ashbest usually would get over the line first. Oogie Azeem's over the line. So it looks like AMS is first. So AMS, incidentally McLaren, we're going to talk about the Constructors' Championship in a few moments, because McLaren can actually seal the championship this evening. The reason for that is because Toro Rosso do not have a second driver for the final 2 races. MaxiLuca sitting out the final 2 races. So if AMS outscores Lewis today by a certain amount of points, then McLaren will be the Constructors' Championship. So Williams currently on 67 points. That's Greeny and CCbrain. And then we have Cliffy and QPRBeasts on 76 points. Big C and XJackLacey on 94 points. Lewis and MaxiLuca on 137 points, although their points total did help by that brilliant one-off cameo by Mitch Emery when he won on his debut race in PS4 before he quit after the very next race. and then AMS and Ashbest on 150 points. So they're looking pretty good. Oh, Oogie Azeem. Oh, Oogie Azeem's had a massive incident just before the DRS activation zone. Well, he must have lost it coming out from the right-hander, so he must have gone wide or had a collision, but that is a shocker for the Sauber driver, who are down a car. Wocko, the teammate, not here this evening, so Oogie Azeem, that's a pretty big moment for him. Let's have a look at Paudie. They're going to give him some airtime. So the Red Bull driver then heading towards past the disappearing wreckage of Oogie Azeem's car, not able to even set a single time as we fly through the DRS zone, heading up to the end of Sector 2, which incidentally is turns 12 and 13. There are a few sort of corners here which are sort of kind of stretching the definition of a corner. Turn 11, which is right in the middle of the DRS activation zone 2. You know, I mean, that's not really a corner, is it? I mean, it's practically a straight. So there are 18 corners of this track, but, you know, I say a few of them arguably should be just removed, really. They're not really corners, but we'll go by the official F1 map, of course. So Paudie then heading across the line, and he goes sick for 134.670. Blizard setting the early pace of a 132.155, but here is Lewis crossing the line, and he goes behind his teammate, and they've set exactly the same time. Look at that. Exactly the same time from the two VSR drivers, but because Blizard set it first, he is currently in provisional pole. Wow, that doesn't happen very often. We expect the pole time to be somewhere in the low 32s. I mean, perhaps one of these two could go into the 31s, but that would be pretty much a perfect lap to do that. So Lewis, well, he's on a high after winning the Inside Line Racing 1 championship yesterday. Can he put himself in position to be, in effect, the PSGL F1 champion as well in the space of 24 hours? We shall see. So Joelianomanu in a decent third at the moment. Let's focus on some other drivers. Lordyboy is on that flying lap. Let's actually turn the times on, that would help. So incidentally, just some sort of advertisement, because JPTV, he will be hosting the live stream of the Race of Champions, so look out for details for that on the official PSGL Twitter. I'm sure we'll get details of that in a couple of weeks' time when the seasons are all finished, because we have one more round in the PSGL F1 Championship, and that will be at Malaysia. A sad goodbye to Malaysia, which I think is a brilliant circuit for league racing, so hopefully we have a big grid and a classic race to give it the send-off it deserves next week. And then, as I say, we will have a Race of Champions featuring some of the best champions of the PSGL F1 2017 era, I hope. So far we have 6 drivers who haven't set a time, so that's pretty surprising, actually. I mean, the one thing about this track is penalties will play a big part, because it is very easy to get penalties here, because there's so many sort of low camber corners where it's very tempting to take a little bit too much of the corner and pick up a warning. So don't be surprised if we see a high volume of penalties here. But in terms of the tyre wear, it's one of the weakest tracks in terms of tyre wear, so the one stop should be very, very simple for all the drivers out here using the 2 strongest compounds. You don't really want to touch the weakest compound here, because it's pretty useless, although not as useless as the mediums were on F1 2016 at this track. My god, if you were on there, then goodness me, you would be going very, very slow indeed. So the one thing they do want to avoid is any sort of wing damage at the start, because, well, you know, if you have to use the weakest tyre, you're going to be pretty much nowhere, because you'll be so slow. So we don't have any idea what the weather's going to be, but I wouldn't mind weather like this just to see the drivers at their maximum speed. But who knows? We'll see what the weather gods throw up for us later on. Cliffy outside the top 10 at the moment, Big C and XJackLacey as well. So Cliffy, a former championship runner-up, and Big C and XJackLacey, 8 PSGL F1 championships between them, of course. So some big names haven't set times yet. Starting outside the top 10 here may not be the worst idea, because you can then finish the race on the strongest tyre. In terms of the pit lost time here, it's not that severe, it's just under 20 seconds, but I still don't think we'll see anybody trying the 2-stop. Unlike some of the tracks we visited recently in PSGL F1, full throttle is only about 50% here, so there's a lot of sort of slow braking zones, so but when they are full throttle, they're considerably long. The 2 DRS zones are 2 of the longest DRS zones in terms of the European races. So that we will see plenty of full throttle action. Turn 3 as well, that is a fantastic corner. It's one of my favourite corners actually, even if I'm not a big fan of this track in particular. The turn 3, it's kind of like, I call it sort of the mini turn 8 from Turkey. It kind of reminds me of that. I mean, it's not as good as turn 8 from Turkey, because that is one of the best corners ever conceded in Formula 1 in my opinion. Just absolutely majestic, watching a car on board there. So Cherry2Pie are on board with at the moment, currently in P6, which is a decent place for him to be. He's had some strong results recently in PSGL F1, so we'll be looking for another one this evening. He's sort of been almost, to a degree, somewhat the Hulkenberg sort of driver, sort of the best of the rest, outside some of the fastest drivers. But I will talk about his teammate a little bit, because Blizard, he's been very impressive recently, hasn't he? Last week he was beaten by Lewis on track, but not by much and enough, and because he had a completely clean race, he won his first race, and he looks like a star for the future for me. PSGL F1, if he can take that sort of form into F1 2018, he's going to be one of the title contenders for sure, especially when Ashbest makes his return, and Lewis, I'm sure, hopefully get an epic title battle between those three. And you know, there may be some other names returning, and who knows, there could be another new name coming out of nowhere to really shake things up, because there's going to be a lot of shake-ups for the divisions in PSGL for F1 2018, and it will be for everybody by default, because a new game, it will always be, even though the F1 2018 cars on paper are fairly similar to the 2017 cards, it's still going to be a big shake-up for everybody. That I have no doubt about. So one retirement from the session, that's Oogie Azeem, so unless nobody else sets a time, he's going to be starting from the back of the grid. But I'm sure that won't phase one of the veterans of the PSGL F1 grid, who not so long ago, a few seasons ago, was in the hunt for the title. Hasn't really worked out for him this season, Oogie, but he did have that fantastic victory at Bahrain, didn't he? So he'll still have that to look back on. So the story is really going to be between these two, Blizard and Lewis. So is Lewis starting a flying lap? He is indeed. So he started one, and Blizard is just on his out lap. So let's have a look at Blizard then, Lewis rather, the guy gunning for the championship lead tonight. Oh, and he goes quite wide into turn 2 and flying up to turn 3, and a decent downshift there to get the car slowed down. It's very easy to get invalidations here, so Lewis, you know, he's got to be very careful. Through 4, then 5, then up through the gears once again to another half corner, turn 6, and then into 7. Oh, it runs wide again, risking an invalidation. I think he takes it slightly more easier for turns 8 and 9 to make sure that just crossing the line into the DRS activation zone, and then building up the speed at well over 200 miles an hour as we head towards the end of sector 2. Let's see how he deals with this braking zone. It's a splendid Toro Rosso from 2017, flies to the corner once again. He goes up the corner and he might have gone for that. So I think he has invalidated, because it looked like through turns 8 and 9 he eased off. So let's have a look at Blizard for a moment. Oh, Blizard! We just caught him having a big moment. Did he just strike the wall? Oh, wait a minute. Blizzard, well, Blizzard's had a huge moment. I think he's massively compromised his lap. Lewis is on that lap. Does he have the fuel? Yes, he does. But this is going to be Blizzard's final run. Lordyboy finishes the session in 8th place, but I don't think Blizzard, unless he's really made improvements in the first few sectors, but he looked like he had a big moment. I think, oh yeah, Blizzard, that's the end of his session. So Lewis just needs to find 0.001 of a second to get pole position. Oh, dramatic scenes. AMSO is up into 3rd, so he's in the 32s. But what about the likes of Cliffy and Big C? Because they haven't set a time yet. Cliffy towards sector 2. Big C struggling for rear grip actually. We will keep an eye on Lewis. He's still making his way around. So let's see what Big C does. Heading through the final set of corners. Joel up to 6th at the moment. Paudie in 7th. Oh, and Big C is invalidated. So he's looking to start. No, he's just slowed down on purpose. So I think he's looking to start outside the top 10. Interesting from the 7-time PSGL F1 champion. What about Cliffy? CCbrain's going to cross the line first, so let's watch the Williams driver. Currently 4th in the championship, 2 podiums this season at Spain and Brazil. So around the final corner he goes. Where's CCbrain going to be? He's going to move up to 3rd. It's a really good time from the Williams driver. 1:32.847, not good enough for pole, of course. And Cliffy crosses the line and goes 7th. So it's all about Lewis. Oh, wait a minute. Wow, did Lewis actually get a time in? Or did he invalidate again? And indeed he did. So Lewis invalidated. So Blizard takes pole position for exactly the same time. But oh no. Oh no, this is not good. We might get that glitch where they start on top of each other. I really hope not. But look at that. The exact same time from Blizard and Lewis. But because Blizard set the time first, he gets pole position. CCbrain 3rd. AMS 4th. JackLacey 5th. Joel and 6th. Cherry. Cliffy making up row 4, Paudie and Greeny making up row 5, and then Lordyboy, Big C and Oogie, who crashed out, making up the grids. But yeah, brilliant showing from some of the drivers. Joel in particular starring for Red Bull up to 6th. JackLacey 5th on his return to the grid. But oh my goodness, are they going to be stuck on the grid? I really hope not. So, as I say, the first braking zone here, it's a 1,000 meter sprint. Slightly less than that for the first kink, but yeah, it's a 1,000 meter sprint for these drivers to the first braking zone at turn 2. And if anyone gets it wrong, it's a really thrilling sight watching Formula 1 cars going through that kink and then all the way down to that corner. And I've seen incidents here in the past where people get it slightly wrong because it does tighten slightly to that kink. So we just got 13 seconds to go. Let's see what tyres are on. Super softs for Big C. And super softs for Cliffy and Lordyboy. So let's get back to the grid because we're about to go racing for the PSGL F1 Russian Grand Prix. Now 5 red lights. Watch the gantry. And they're not on top of each other. Thank goodness it's not like a nature documentary. Here we go. Blizard and Lewis lead us away. And Lewis makes an absolutely brilliant start and out drags the Haas driver immediately. And as the grid stream down towards turn 1, they're all keeping it well behaved so far at least, but here we go into the first one. AMS dives on the inside and gets his brake on and strikes the side of Blizard. Luckily no damage for Blizard. I'm not sure about AMS, and look behind, almost 3 wide through turn 3 they go, almost 4 wide. Astonishing stuff. The Mercedes, Williams and McLaren going side by side, and the top 2 already galloping away from the rest. Let's get there. So JackLacey challenging for 3rd position. Let's just have a quick look at JackLacey, and he's side by side of AMS, who dives back down the inside pass, and good move from AMS. And then Cherry2Pie is involved as well. This could be a crazy race outside the top 10. Oogie Azeem's already moved up to 3rd position, so a good start. Big C is languishing down at the back. How often do you say that? Has he had contact somewhere on the first lap, I wonder? And AMS now, and Blizard is putting Lewis under pressure. Real pressure straight away, so he's not going to allow Lewis to get away. Like I said, this could be a title battle of the future between these 2 VSR drivers, but they've already left AMS 2.3 seconds behind, so these 2 could be going all the way to end with an epic battle. We're going to see what happens. So let's have a quick look at JackLacey. He's looking to challenge. There's all sorts going on behind. Is anyone pitting? It looks like we've got a few cars going to pits. I think Cliffy is one of them, as VSR Lewis sets the fastest lap of the race, of course, on lap 1, being the first cross line. So Cliffy is pits, and so does Paudie. Ah dear, both Renault powered cars into the pit lane for new wings, I would imagine. Lewis having to think about defending a little bit. Blizard wasn't quite close enough. Lap 2 then. It was a fairly clean start, but that turn 2 at the end of the 1,000 metres, it's so easy just to make a bit of contact, and that's why this is happening. Blizzard runs wide out of the corner, and they've already left AMS 2.8 seconds behind. Does AMS have damage? Looks like he might have some end plates missing on the left-hand side, possibly. That might explain his relevant lack of pace at the moment. But he's, well, to be fair, he's doing a decent job. Maybe he doesn't have damage. He's sort of not exactly under pressure at the moment. So we're going to keep an eye on these 2. This looks like it's going to be a titanic battle, at least for the first stint. So Blizard is in the slipstream of Lewis. No retirement so far for 13 who started. Lewis feels like he has to go defensive. Blizard will buy this time, and I think he's going to wait for the DRS, which will be activated at the end of this lap. And I think that is a wise decision. He doesn't need to. Most of the top 10 started on ultra softs, except for Cliffy. He's dropped down obviously to 12 thanks to that pit stop. So let's have a look at the winners and losers then. The opening couple of laps. 4 places gained for Greeny, 4 gained for Azeem. So from the back grid, that's really good. 4 lost for Cliffy and Paudie, as Lewis sets the fastest lap. Now the DRS will open for the first time. Can Blizard get close to him with the DRS? Terrible camera angle. Thank you very much. So now Lewis, can he start to get the hammer down? He is aiming to take the lead in the PSGL F1 Championship, and with Ashbest likely not to race next week, that would make it more or less a guard of honour from the rest of the grid to take the championship next week. Yeah, look, Lewis is beginning to edge a little bit away. Let's look down the order a little bit, because it looks like Greeny is putting Cherry2Pie under a bit of pressure. So Williams in a good position at the moment, 6th and 7th, running in the top 10. Let's see if we'll get any DRS action here. It's a very long second DRS, the activation point just before turn 10. Let's have a look at Blizard again. Is he getting any closer to the Toro Rosso driver? He is getting closer. It's not going to be close enough, I think, to make a move. Lewis has a little move to the right, half thinking about the fence, but I think he knew, he always had it covered. Let's have a look at Greeny again. Nope, Greeny not able to get past for the time being. So it's quite a tight grid so far. 3rd down to 11th, pretty close. Now we will head back to the battle for the lead. Lewis, exactly where he wants to be. It was penalties that cost him the win last week, but I don't think he would be too fussed if he finished 2nd, because that would still give him the lead championship. He just needs to. He just needs 4 points. He just needs 7 or better today to take the lead of the championship. I wonder, can Ashbest make it? And Blizard picks up a 3-second time penalty, and that's only on lap 4, so that will aid Lewis's cause. No question about that. So role reversal of last week, it was Lewis who couldn't keep it on the track limits. This week it's Blizard who draws first blood in the penalty bit, and that will not be the last penalty we will see in this race, I guarantee you that. And to answer Game Freaker's question, yes, effectively Lewis, he's not mathematically champion technically, but if Ashbest doesn't race next week, then Lewis, it will effectively be, you know, a guard of honour for Lewis as the champion. Again, he won't be declared the champion until, you know, until it's over, because I've seen strange things. But look at this, Blizard actually got a really good run out to turn 10, and this is as close as he's been. Oh, I think he's going to go for a move, you know. Oh, not quite close enough. Oh, they're going to go side by side, at least for a nanosecond. Lewis didn't get the power down very well out turn 10. That's what left him vulnerable. So Blizard coming back at him, maybe venting a little bit after picking up that penalty. But now look how close the top 2 are. 3.7 seconds the gap between Blizard and AMS now. I mean, these two have really left them for dead, the rest of the field. I mean, maybe if Cliffy hadn't had the incident, maybe he could have been challenging if he made up some places, but no, he's well out of it now. Like I say, it's a one-stop race here, and Lewis is under pressure once again. If he's going to take the championship lead, he's going to have a hell of a fight on his hands from Blizard, who seems to be inspired. And it's a poor exit from Lewis. They're going to go side by side into turn 3. And Blizard will temporarily take the lead, but can Lewis come back at him into the next corner? He will dive back, but look at that, traction from Blizard on the outside, and he's going to take the lead. Now he's going to try and cut Lewis off, but Lewis still has half a chance to get back in front. Oh, and there's contact between the two. Whose damage was that? Was that the Toro Rosso driver, or was that Blizard? I'm not sure. I think we'll find out with the sector times in a few moments. Oh, it looks like, I think the Haas has damage. Looks like the Haas has damage. I mean, they were going furiously wheel to wheel, but I think Blizard has got damage to his right end plates. There seem to be a few missing. Now can Lewis come back at him? Greeny's fallen down to 9th position, so he's had it off somewhere. So Lewis will now try and come back at Blizard. These two VSR drivers, they know each other well. But They're having a pretty excellent scrap for the lead of the race at the moment. Sorry we're not showing any of the other drivers, but this is the main focus at the moment of the Russian Grand Prix PSGL F1, penultimate round of the season. But maybe Blizzard got away with light green damage. You know, if you get light green damage, it's not the worst disaster. And again, poor traction out of the final corner by Lewis. He struggled for the last lap or so, traction out some of these slow corners. And now Lewis going up through the gears. The DRS is open. He closes the wing early, interestingly. So maybe didn't feel like he was going to be in the position for an attack. But yeah, Blizzard, the lack of downforce is really going to hurt him at turn 3. You can't take this corner flat. You're going to lose so much time. But Blizzard keeping his foot down and keeping ahead for the time being. But this is all allowing AMS and XJackLacey to catch up. So Blizzard holds the position for the time being. It's at 1.8 seconds. So the gap between Blizzard and Lewis has been slashed in half. And Greeny pits. Is that for a wing change? Just have a quick look before we switch back. Must have been. I don't see any reason. And this is a fantastic camera view of Sochi, site of the 2014 Winter Olympics. That's what some of these stadiums and architecture were built for. Same year the first Russian Grand Prix was held here. And Cherry2Pie is out of the race. Gonna have a look what happens to him in a moment, but there's a critical moment happening here. Lewis in the DRS zone and looking to close in. So Blizzard's teammate is out of the race, and he has lost it almost near the same place where Oogie crashed in qualifying. So that corner, and now Lewis looking for a move down the inside, and he gets the switch back on Blizzard. Blizzard's weaves a little bit, but nothing wrong with that. It's only one move. And now Lewis desperately trying to get the power down. It's now surely now Blizzard is going to be a sitting duck, because Lewis was right on the back of him straight away. Blizzard's going to have to go defensive straight away, but I think Lewis is going to be able to out-drag him down to turn 2 as AMS and XJackLacey lurk in the background. Round the outside Lewis goes, and oh, he's surely cut the corner, probably got a warning there. But they're going to go side by side once again, but role reversal a couple of laps ago. Blizzard's going to come back at Lewis though. Lewis will get the switch back. Oh, this is absolutely brilliant, but look how much AMS and XJackLacey have caught these two. Lewis will dive down the inside and take the lead at the Russian Grand Prix. Absolutely brilliant racing from these two. It's just a shame Blizzard got damaged, because that's going to probably prevent him from coming back at him, but we don't know how much damage it's got. It may not be affecting him too much, but it's just allowed AMS to catch up with him. I mean, there was a lot of carbon fibre flying off both cars, so who knows, maybe both cars got damage out of that contact a couple of laps ago. So now Blizzard is in DRS range, AMS is behind, and XJackLacey, the top 4 separated by about 2 seconds in total. So can Blizzard come back at Lewis or not? No, he will not be able to. Gets the car slowed down. And AMS, this is good news for the Constructors' Championship if AMS can get up to the podium, because that would limit the damage even if Lewis wins the race. So he's in inspired form at Austria and here as well. He's got XJackLacey right behind him. So we've had one retirement so far, Cherry2Pie for the Haas team, crashing at a similar location that Oogie Azeem did in qualifying. And speaking of Oogie, what a great recovery from him. He's up to P7, and he's actually just taken another position. Oh, that's because CCbrain pits. Has he got damage? It's quite an early pit stop actually. Let's see what tyres everybody's on. Cliffy is on softs, so he'll be looking to go to the end. CCbrain then pitting. XJackLacey picks up a penalty though. Oh, and AMS has had a moment. Just saw AMS have a moment out of the corner, and he's dropped time to Blizzard. So that's allowed Blizzard to get away slightly. But no damage done, I don't think, on AMS. He will certainly have, XJackLacey and AMS will certainly have the advantage on Blizzard as time goes on, because with the lack of downforce, Blizzard is having to work his tyres that much harder, even if the tyre wear isn't that severe here. It is going to compromise him in certain corners, especially the likes of turn 3 and the last sector. And well, AMS looking good for a podium, because one thing I didn't mention, which QPRBeasts at the same time was thinking about, is that XJackLacey has 10 seconds carried over from Monza. So he had a race ban, but he had a 10-second penalty for the next race he attended, so keep that in mind. So he's effectively out of the question for a podium, unless of course something massive happens to the top three. But you know, Blizard is keeping just over a second behind him, so Lewis is not exactly galloping away. AMS pits. Now this is interesting, looking for the undercut perhaps, and actually there is a nice gap I think he can fall into in front of Cliffy, so some nice clean air on offer for the McLaren driver. But he's going to have to take those super softs a little bit further, or is he going to opt for these softs? Let's just see what he does. McLaren pit crew ready then for their man. And yeah, it is super softs. Get tyre wet very, very easy here. And Cliffy is nowhere near the end of the lap. So AMS is coming out into some nice clean air here. So if he can get these super softs working, then he's got a chance of undercutting Blizard, who is now dropping significant times. 1.7 seconds now between Lewis and Blizard. And of course Blizard will have to probably pit for a new wing as well, surely, because he's losing so much time now. JackLacey first. So Oogie Azeem up to fourth. Well, he's had the recovery today so far, no question about it. Let's have a quick look down the order, see if there's anything going on. Two Williams teammates having a nice little scrap for the final points. It's pretty much our closest battle at the moment. The thing is, we're just waiting for the strategies to play out for the time being. These drivers have all pitted, of course. Cliffy on the softs, he's opted for the weakest tire, and he's been caught now by Greeny and CCbrain. So Williams were running nicely in the top 10, but unfortunately were caught up with some incidents, so now they're outside, one of them's outside the top 10. But Cliffy, well, he could be a sitting duck from some fast Williams. It's not often you say fast Williams in 2018, that is for sure. Just having a look. There's a nice lot of people watching this evening. I see Frome and Stephen Charlesworth, aka LFC for life, so good to see you guys. JackLacey then pits from 4th position, which promotes Oogie Azeem to 3rd. We'll see if AMS got a decent outlap. Now I do want to go back to this battle because I think this could be a potential 3-wide situation. AMS will comfortably, I think, get ahead of JackLacey. Yeah, he will. So Cliffy then. Let's just have a quick look at this particular battle. This is the only real battle on track at the moment. So CCbrain, the Williams attempting to absolutely savage the Renault of Cliffy in front. Hopefully not with actual physical contact. So Cliffy is not going defensive. I don't think he really can, but actually Greeny wasn't quite close enough to make the move. Blizard picks up another time penalty. He's out 3 seconds behind. He's got 6 seconds of penalty, so AMS is looking really good to finish second behind Lewis at the moment. And down the inside goes Greeny on Cliffy, and will CCbrain follow him through? Greeny's going to have to defend against his teammate as well. Cliffy not quite giving up the fight. He's trying to stay ahead of CCbrain, but he's on the superior super soft tyres. But Cliffy is going to be overtaken, and he's down to 11 to ease. Both Williams getting through in the end. So decent little battle from those three. CCbrain picks up another time penalty. I did say there'd be lots of penalties, and there already has been. CCbrain in the DRS zone, and the top three pitting on track. So Lewis comes into the pit lane, Blizard just behind. What tyres are they going to go for? Super softs for Lewis, super softs, and a wing change, and that means AMS. Where is Lewis coming out of the pit lane now? AMS is going to take a net second on track behind Lewis, and actually he's really close to Lewis. So Lordyboy and Big C, first and second on track for the time being, but they haven't pitted, and AMS is in 4th on track for second, and he's right behind Lewis. Could AMS have half a chance of winning this race right now? If only the safety car was working. Unfortunately, we'll have to wait for the next game. But look at this, Oogie Azeem and Blizard straight away going into combat. The wing change meant Oogie Azeem jumped Blizard in the pit stop, so Oogie Azeem, he's in the fight for this podium as well. Because don't forget, JackLacey has that 10 seconds of penalties. So Blizard desperately trying to get past Oogie Azeem as quickly as possible to get back into the hunt for the race victory, because when he didn't have the damage, he was as quick as Lewis on track, no question about it. Oogie Azeem runs wide, and I think Blizzard's going to have a chance to overtake. Oh, and late on the brakes goes Oogie Azeem, but he goes deep. Blizzard will be able to come back at him. Who's got DRS? It's going to be Blizzard who has it. They're going to go side by side into this braking zone. Blizzard will have the inside. Will he get this move done? Can Oogie come back at him? No, he cannot. Not for the time being. So Blizzard gets the move done without any damage. Now he's got to chase after XJackLacey, who's a long way down the road. Look at this, right behind. We've got Greeny, CCbrain, Joelianomanu, who's made his first pit stop of the race on fresh super soft. So we're going to get another tasty little battle here, potentially. AMS has already dropped out of DRS range of Lewis, so Lewis is putting the hammer down. Some quick laps to come from him as he looks to seal the victory here. Although he may catch up quickly with Big C, there could be a nice little battle there. Up ahead then, the two Williams going into combat. Oh, slight contact on the rear right. CCbrain surely got another warning there. There's no team orders in action here from Claire Williams. Watch out for Joelianomanu behind. He will take advantage of any mistake these two drivers make. Greeny goes slightly deep. Oh, and Greeny squeezing his teammate to the wall almost. CCbrain goes, and they both run wide. Joelianomanu, he's going to pick up both places. Oh, and there's contact behind Greeny. Oh, it's a disaster. Frank Williams and Claire Williams hold their hands. Unbelievable. What on earth happened there? That is not what teammates should be doing. And Joelianomanu, he will certainly be quoting Hulkenberg, oops, thank you very much, because he's gained 2 places out of that. He's now up to 8th position. Well, that was a shocking moment for the Williams team. It's kind of like the shocking season the team's having in real life. So Joelianomanu up to 8th position. Now he's going to give chase to Oogie Azeem. Lewis setting the fast lap of the race. Well, he's got one hand on the race victory here, you have to feel, and certainly one hand on that championship. But look at that, Blizzard setting a blistering pace himself, a 1:35.797. That is far quicker than Lewis has managed on his fresh tyres. And Lewis is already, though, caught up to the back of Big C. Now this could be tasty. The champion in waiting against the 7-time champion, arguably the greatest driver in PS4 F1 history. This is a bit of a dream match situation. Big C has not been at his best this season, hasn't had the time to practice as he would like, but now he is about to attempt to defend from Lewis. Will he be able to defend against him? Big C cuts to the left to defend. Now he's just got to get his braking right. Look at so much more grip on Lewis's tyres. Big C goes defensive. They're going to go side by side. There's AMS 1.3 seconds behind. Lewis will go past him and cuts him off. And it's a fairly routine pass in the end. Big C defended as much as he could, but with the inferior grip of his tyres, there wasn't really much he could do, to be honest with you. Joelianomanu is under attack from CCbrain behind. No, Joel keeps the place for the time being. So let's have a look at AMS. He's now closing onto the back of Big C. Will he be close enough to challenge? Blizzard is 4.6 seconds. So Blizzard is he's close enough now for XJackLacey, so he will be ahead of XJackLacey if he finishes like this, 5th position. So Blizzard, highest position he can be in is 5th at the moment, but of course Lordyboy and Big C yet to pit, so still a chance for a podium for Blizzard. But with those penalties, AMS getting very close to the back of Big C. He just needs to take his time, he doesn't need to do any rash moves. He's on for a brilliant result here. It would be his best result of the season, his first podium of the season it would be, he's on for, so he's got to keep a cool head at this moment in time. Just want to have a look at CCbrain, still tucked up behind the Red Bull, Joelianomanu. So let's go back to AMS. Incidentally, Lewis has caught up to Lordyboy already. How rapid was that? He's showing, it just shows you the difference between fresh rubber and the worn super softs that Lordyboy and Big C are on currently. AMS goes for a late lunge down the inside, and both Mercedes are there. Well, XJackLacey right there as well. What's going on here? Big C holding up his teammate, or holding up the McLaren rather, to try to get XJackLacey back into the fight. So XJackLacey still thinks he can finish on the podium, but all that scrapping has basically put him into the clutches of Blizzard. It's now 5 seconds between Lewis and AMS, so Big C must have held up AMS for that gap to be developed like that. So XJackLacey looking for a move around the outside of AMS, but doesn't get it. Lordyboy has been overtaken by Lewis, so Lewis takes the lead of the race. This is our main focus at the moment, the battle for second, by the looks of it. CCbrain has incidentally finally got past Joelianomanu. Blizzard. He probably didn't expect to catch these two so quickly, but he is. We caught sort of the second half of that free race scrap between the McLaren and two Mercedes, but it just looked like Big C was holding AMS up to try and get his teammate to pass him. Didn't quite work out. But it was very furious and stuff, but you know, bit of contact, bit of wheel banging, but it was, you know, all fair. It wasn't like the Williams pairing who basically, or Cliffy and Greeny basically took each other out almost. One of them retiring. We've had 2 retirements of the 30 started. It's a shame we didn't have more races tonight, but you know, 13 still a good turnout for a game which is on its dying breath, to be honest with you. Blizzard's close within 2 seconds of these two, so at the moment Blizzard in a net 4th. That will be now a net 3rd as Lordyboy pits. The last of the drivers who hadn't pitted, so Ultra Softs for him. Let's see what tyres everybody's on, incidentally. Ultra Softs for Big C, Ultra Softs I'm sure for Lordyboy. So they will be rapid. Big C closing up onto Paudie already. I think we'll have a quick look at that. So I think we are going to see some overtaking action here. Big C gets a good exit. He does. Good exit. Fresh Ultra Soft tyres. Now where's Lordyboy come out? Lordyboy's actually come out ahead of Big C, so all that scrapping probably cost Big C a bit of time. Not able to undercut him. Big C should get this move done now and moves back into the points. Up to 10th for the 7-time champion. So Paudie will probably be hoping for some sort of retirement. And Lordyboy and Big C, they'll be giving chase to Cliffy, who's going to be going to the end on the softs, but he's going to be so slow. Like I said, the weakest tyre here is not very, very strong here, whatever stint you have them on. It's just a tyre you just don't want to be on whatsoever. It's a tyre where it's so minimal here, you can get away with doing super soft shot easily, just like you could on the F1 2016 game. If you can do a 1-sub on F1 2016, you can easily do it on this game. So XJackLacey still in DRS range of AMS, but not able to make an impression. All the while, Blizzard is getting closer and closer. Lewis setting the fast lap of the race at 1:35.562. Blizzard make up for that wing damage he got. I mean, who knows? If he hadn't had that damage with Lewis, I think they would be fighting for the lead right now. So it's a shame there was contact between the two. So XJackLacey, at the moment, the best result he can hope for is going to be around, I think it's going to be probably 7th at the moment. It's not 10 seconds ahead of CCbrain, so ban and that 10-second penalty is really compromising, because I think he'd be looking good with the podium, but he's going to have some defending to do. Because if you look at the fastest lap, Blizzard lapping significantly faster than these two drivers ahead. Not much to choose between Lewis and Blizzard for the fast lap. In fact, they're the only two drivers in the 35s at the moment on track. Although we'll see what Big C can do when he gets his tyres up to temperature. He might be in the 35s on those as well. So at the moment, Lewis has a 7.5 second advantage, so it's looking like he's just going to disappear off the distance unless he has some sort of moments, needs to get across the line. And although he won't mathematically be champion, he will effectively be it, because Ashbest will not be racing next week unless he makes a miraculous early return from his holiday and comes onto it. I mean, I've seen stranger things happen. I mean, if we got a title battle still next week, that would be incredible, but I don't think we're going to see it. So Blizzard's now within DRS range of xJackLacey, but xJackLacey, of course, will have DRS himself. Just have a look at it, judging his braking point, watching for the 100-metre mark ball on the left-hand side, and he does a decent job. xJackLacey not getting good traction out of that corner, allowing Blizzard to get ever closer. As long as he keeps in DRS range of AMS, it's going to be difficult for Blizzard to pass. Given the difference in lap time between Blizzard and xJackLacey, Blizzard, you would feel, has a good chance of getting past xJackLacey. Don't forget, Blizzard has 6 seconds of penalties, so you'd have to pass both of these and get 6 seconds, and AMS finish second. So AMS still looking good for second place, which would be brilliant for the construction assembly with McLaren, because that would mean Toro Rosso would only be gaining 4 points, which probably won't be enough if that sort of result is repeated in Malaysia next week. So xJackLacey getting ever closer. Slight lock of the front right, gets it slowed down. This is your main battle on track for the PSGL F1 Russian Grand Prix, lap 18 of 27. Look how close these three are now. Blizzard looking for a move. He's not going to go for it here. Not really know. Oh, and xJackLacey does run wide. And half a moment I thought Blizzard was going to dive down the last corner, turn 18. xJackLacey has remained a real hash of sector 3, and now he's really vulnerable. He has DRS, but he's not going fast enough. Blizzard is going to have half a chance to overtake for third place to move on to the podium. Oh, they both touch, and they get away with it. Blizzard is going to try and throw the car around the outside and go into the inside at turn 4. No, he slots back behind. That was robust defending from xJackLacey. And Frome is right, that could have ended in tears, but they just about gave each other room. I think on 2016. And xJackLacey picks up another time penalty just to add insult to injury. So now he's got 13 seconds in total, including the one issued to him by the stewards. So, well, that's going to put him even further down. Lordyboy and Big C are closing in on Cliffy, but not as rapidly as I expected them to. The last 3 laps, it's probably been about a second, but I thought they'd be taking a second out of him. As Blizzard now has a chance. xJackLacey's fallen out of DRS range. xJackLacey will try and dive back at him. They touch, but Blizzard's got the better wear, and he's going to have the inside for turn 15. Can xJackLacey come back at him? Yes, he does. Brilliant braking by xJackLacey to give him half a chance, and they touch again. And this time, Blizzard gets ahead. Really, really aggressive driving from both, but just about on the edge of fairness. Blizzard moves up to third position. It's a tall order for him now to get seconds. He's got to get 6 seconds on AMS by the end of the race, and we've only got 8 laps, including this one, to go. Seen some brilliant battles today. Oh, xJackLacey slips wide. He's been on those supersofts a bit longer than Blizzard. He's had to fight hard with them. He's going to have to settle at least for 4th on track by the looks of it, but he's going to tumble down the order even more. Let's have a look. 11.1 seconds off the lead, so at the moment he's going to be dropping down to 6th place, or maybe more because of the penalties that he's got. He might drop behind Joelianomanu. It's 2.4 seconds now between Lordyboy and Cliffy. So I think maybe on the last few laps we will see a battle between the Renault driver and the Ferrari. Big C hasn't really been able to put down the ultra softs as much as I thought he would. Not able to catch up to to Lordyboy, so he's only going to be finishing 10th at the moment. Yeah, XJackLacey in particular has really struggled with Sector 3 in the laps we've seen from him. He's looked very strong in the first 2 sectors, but this is where he's been losing the time. He's almost dropped out of DRS range of Blizard already. Blizzard's just able to carry more speed through these corners. Yeah, 9/10 now between the two. Lordyboy is slowly chipping away at Cliffy's advantage in the battle for 8th. So I think maybe lap 20B or 24 he'd be right on the back of him. But Cliffy, he's showing decent pace on those softs to not lose as much time as I thought he would. XJackLacey makes another error at turn 2. Now he's out of DRS range. So Blizzard attempting now to catch up to AMS. Isn't quite getting the job done at the moment. So if you've enjoyed this race, then I would really appreciate if you left a like. And there will be no podium interviews this evening because, well, Lewis's mic is broke. So even if he takes the win, he won't be able to speak to us anyway. But there will be next week for the season finale. As Blizzard picks up another time penalty. That's 9 seconds now he's got. So yeah, I think any chance he had of finishing second has gone up in smoke. And in fact, that could actually drop him behind Oogie Azeem on the podium. So never mind second. Oogie Azeem, I think, has only got 3 seconds of time penalties. We'll find out at the end. I think the race result at the end will be quite provisional. So we'll have to see how the penalties go out. But 9 seconds, that's a lot of Blizzard. He didn't get any Austria last week, but he's really not been able to keep it as clean today. 1.5 seconds now between 8th and 9th. So I think we will get a battle between them soon. But personally, AMS and Oogie Azeem for me, they're the 2 contenders for driver of the day. So I don't know what your choice would be, guys. So let me know in the chat who your driver of the day is so far. I think it is between those 2 in my opinion. Fromars, how many penalties do you think you'll get on Sunday? Well, hopefully, if I'm being conservative, hopefully it's not double what Blizzard has, but you never know. The penalty queen will be out in force for F3 as he looks to try and seal the title, although he's got a hell of a title battle on for F3, so certainly check that out. So Blizzard is in with DRS range now as Paudie makes a pit stop from 11th place, so that pretty much means he has no chance now of finishing in the points. So Lordyboy and Big C continuing their pursuit of Cliffy. I think those 3 cars could be coming together right at the end of the race for what would be a battle for 4, 2 and 1 points in this particular race. Blizzard in DRS range, but not able to make much of an impression on AMS. Not really close enough to get into the slipstream, but I think that may be a different scenario though when we get to the beginning of lap 23. Let's have a quick look at Lewis, just calmly going about his business. Very much reminiscent of the RR race that I watched yesterday and commentated on. Just going about his business. He's been when he gets into the lead, he's very impressive, very Ashbest-like from last season, and of course the early races of this season as well. So Blizzard, it's now in DRS range, but it's not really getting much of a tow. 2 retirements then in this race so far. Now Lordyboy is almost within DRS range at Cliffy. Blizzard, who knows where he would have been if it wasn't for that wing damage he got earlier. I think he would have been where Lewis is right now, but he's going to have some fun now. The chance of him getting past AMS and getting 9 seconds are virtually nil. Got a feeling AMS has 3 seconds of penalties himself. That's still 6 seconds for Blizzard to make up in a handful of laps to go. But AMS can't risk that. He's got to try and hold up Blizzard a little bit, defend. Oh, and Oogie picks up a 3-second time penalty. So that's another twist on this particular affair. It's a good exit from AMS. It gives him half a chance. He's going to have to go defensive soon though. Blizzard is closing. Ferrari engine in the Haas, squealing as he gets up to the top gear. AMS will go to the inside to try and defend, but Blizzard, brilliant traction on the outside. That's a really well executed overtake. Even with the DRS assistance, you still have to get the cars slowed down. It's a very tricky braking zone, that one. But he gets into second place, at least on track. For AMS now, he's just got to not get any more penalties and just stick within a decent gap behind AMS. Maybe use the DRS for a few laps just to keep in range of Blizzard. So Lordyboy still closing in, so we'll just keep an eye on AMS for a few more moments. Oogie's team actually, we're 1.5 seconds now of XJackLacey. So he's having a decent run of it. AMS keep within DRS range, just getting a bit of a toe, just to keep the gap down. Oogie's team 1.3 seconds. I think we may get a few battles. We got just over 3.5 laps left of this PSGL F1 Russian Grand Prix. It certainly hasn't reached the heights of some of the classics we've had this season, but we've seen some decent action here tonight, given we've only got 13 drivers out there, which filling a 5.8 kilometre circuit would suggest there might be huge gaps. But, there is a few battles coming to the fore. Lordyboy now 1.2 seconds behind Cliffy. Cliffy's been on those tyres a long time, but they should still be fairly fresh. Let's have a look at what their fuel loads are like. Much for AMS. Blizzard has a bit more. Yeah. So Lewis is running in lead at the moment. Just turned the engine down. Oh, Lewis picks up a time penalty though. But I don't think it's going to hurt him. It's his first time penalty of the race. Lewis heading for victory here at Sochi. 3 laps to go then. Is AMS still in DRS range? You can get a nice tow with Blizzard. He is not. He's fallen out of DRS range now. But speaking of DRS range, Lordyboy certainly is in DRS range now. So I think we're about to get a battle here for 8th place. Big C surprisingly hasn't really been able to get the ultra softs working. He's still 2.3 seconds behind, so I think the only chance we have of any more change of position is this one in particular here. So flying around turn 3. Do this 2 more times. Lordyboy now well within DRS range. 11-second gap between the top 2. There's going to be a few penalties to sort out for the stewards after the race. I wonder what Claire Williams will say to her 2 drivers after Greeny and CCbrain's collision earlier on in the race. I think they'll get a bit of a slap from her for that. Maybe a fine somewhere, or they have to fly economy or something to Malaysia. I don't know. So Lordyboy well within DRS range now, but not able to close into the Cliffy. But he's got 2 more laps to get past him. Lewis begins the penultimate lap of the race. Yes, I mean, certainly tune into Malaysia next week. So if we get a large grid, it's one of the best league racing tracks in the game. I'm certainly going to miss Malaysia for sure. So Lordyboy then, it's got 2 more laps to get 8th place. A good exit from Cliffy. That's something Cliffy's always been good at, getting traction out of these slow corners. That's very important at this last corner, just to give you that breathing space to defend. But Lordyboy's coming back. It's not really close enough, but let's switch gears for a moment, because Azeem is closer within DRS range of XJackLacey in the battle. On track at least, for 4th position, but XJackLacey has 10-second penalty at least. Lordyboy picks up another 3-second time, as that may end his charge for 8th place. So Azeem gets in DRS. It's been an impressive drive from Azeem, like the Oogie of old. He's recovered from the back of the grid, 13th to 5th. That's a really good recovery from him. XJackLacey moves to the left. Azeem goes for a late lunge, but can he get it slowed down? Oh, that's a fantastic late braking move from Azeem. I said it was Oogie of old, and that certainly was an example of that. So he moves up to 4th on track, but that was perfectly executed. A bit more speed and he would have been hitting the barrier, or at least running wide and losing the place. Back to GREENY-LFC. I think GREENY-LFC just doesn't have the tyres left to defend, but we're going to go straight back to Lordyboy. It's now the final lap of the race. Lewis then. He can almost taste the glory of the PSGL F1 Championship. He'll be crowned the champion next week, because we see if Ashbest isn't going to turn up next week, but it's looking excellent for him. So Lordyboy, can he close in on Cliffy? He's got probably 2 chances to get back past, but he's not close enough. He's just not close enough to get that 8th place from Cliffy. Cliffy, you know, he's been on the sauce for a long time, so if he gets in the points, I think it's been an impressive effort from him. Big seat. You know, he's turned the engine down. Mercedes said, yep, no, we'll fight another day. So can Lordyboy get past Cliffy? We'll have to switch to Lewis soon. See him cross the line. Oh, and Lordyboy, oh, he's hit the back of Cliffy, and that will probably end his challenge. 9th place, he got the braking all wrong. And that is that. So Lewis then, heading around through the final selection of corners. 15, 16, the crowd rising. Toro Rosso driver has won 4 races this season, and he's about to collect his 5th and the victory that will surely seal the PSGL F1 Championship. And round the corner he goes to win the Russian Grand Prix, and the Toro Rosso team are absolutely ecstatic. And now Blizard will cross the line. It's another podium for the Haas driver, I believe, unless of course penalties deny him. But here comes AMS. Did he get 2nd in the end? Yes, he does. AMS with his first podium of the season, and Oogie team gets onto the podium as well for his lack of penalties. So a brilliant drive by those two. So AMS with his first podium of the season, but the day, of course, belongs to this man. CCbrain in 5th, XJackLacey in 6th in the end, and he'll be even further down after penalties. Joelianomanu in 7th, Cliffy in 8th, Lordyboy in 9th. Let's go on board then with Lewis. He's done it. He is the PSGL F1 champion in all but name. It will be confirmed next week, but Ashbest, if he doesn't race, it's an automatic, and so I think we can safely say that he has done it. IOL1 champion and PSGL F1 champion in just over 24 hours. Absolutely magnificent achievement from Lewis. But I'm sure Ashbest will come back seeking to win back his championship for what could be an epic title battle next season. And looking at Blizzard's pace this season, he could be well involved in that, and some other drives as well. So I would say that was a thoroughly entertaining race here at Sochi this evening. So then Lewis punches the air of delight. We got to mention AMS and Oogie Azeem from the back of the grid to 3rd place, and I think surely driver of the day with that, even with AMS's performance. But truly the day, of course, does belong to your new PSGL F1 champion, and that is Lewis. But of course, this could be all for nothing, what I'm saying, if Ashbest comes back next week, but I'm sure he isn't. So here is your provisional race result then for the PSGL F1 Russian Grand Prix. VSR Lewis takes the victory and the championship lead, and effectively the championship as well. AMS with an absolutely magnificent drive from 4th on the grid to his first podium of the season. Oogie Azeem, surely your driver of the day. Let me know in the chat who your driver of the day is, but this would be my choice. Oogie Azeem, 13th to 3rd, absolutely brilliant. Blizzard picked up 12 seconds of penalties in the end. That's what denied him the podium. He finished in 4th. CCbrain in 5th. So despite his contact with his teammate, a decent result, although he might be facing the stewards or at least an angry Claire Williams after the race. XJackLacey in 6th. He was really quick early on, but his pace sort of faded as the race went on, unfortunately. Maybe went into pits a little bit too early. Joelianomanu, a solid 7th place for Red Bull. Cliffy in 8th. Race heavily compromised by contact on lap 1. Big C then, lack of penalties, promoting him to 9th. And Lordyboy, well, he got a point at least, but 9-second penalties meant he couldn't finish any higher up. And Paudie was your final finish of the race, with 2 retirements in Greeny and Cherry2Pie. So a really thoroughly enjoyable race, and we will see you next week then for the season finale. which unlike the last 2 seasons sadly won't be a title decider, but I'm sure it will be another thrilling race from PSGL F1. Thanks for watching and see you next time.